Hey everybody, it's Strict 9 with Strict 9 GP, and welcome to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 19 GM Challenge with the Reds. We just finished the draft. We are middle of June 2021. We are struggling this year, still with a winning record at 33-30, but we're 7 games behind Chicago in the Central, and we've had some tough times this year so far. What I was going to do this episode, I'll look at how the team's doing, how the league's doing, look at our draft, and then we'll sim ahead. I'm hoping that we have turned things around, started playing better, but it's going to be a while, I think, before we get this team back to being competitive enough to win the division outright. So I'm hoping, if nothing else, our owner goal was to reach the playoffs this year. I'm hoping that we outside chance. I'm hoping that we have a chance at that wild card. But let's go ahead and look first off with the way the league is looking right now and how we're looking within it. I just said, Chicago's still playing really strong. We've won 6 of 10, 3 in a row, so that kind of got us a few games above 500. We've been struggling for the most part looking at our team stats. We've been right around 500 pretty much the whole season. And I look at the balance of the team. I think the balance is pretty healthy. We are top 5 in several categories. Offensively, 6th, 7th is the lowest category we have in the National League offensively. And then same with pitching. I mean, we have a few categories like walks and bullpen ERA where we're below the middle of the pack, but for the most part, we're in top half of the league overall in those stats. So I'm hoping that that's going to translate into more wins as we go along, but they just haven't been coming this year. And looking back at the way the rest of the league's going, we've got the Dodgers and Padres now, very tight National League West. I mean, 4.5 games separate first to fifth there. Pittsburgh is struggling a little bit. I thought they would be a little bit better by now. In the National League East, Braves having another good year, but the Mets are strong this year too. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Individual performances, Philadelphia, who picked up Bryce Harper in the offseason, he's looking really good for him. I mean, he's on pace for some monster numbers this year. May get another MVP if he keeps that up. But we have Cam Gibson, who's in the league leaders for home runs and RBIs, so that's been a positive. Not much going on though, pitching wise. Although Chad Green has looked pretty good, pretty solid. Even looked better this year than he did last year when he was runner up to the reliever of the year award. In the American League, it's Boston pretty much doing a good job in the American League East, although they've been on a little bit of a slide, lost 6 of the last 10. Toronto's looking good this year, just 2.5 games back. And then you got that Central Division outside of Kansas City. It's very competitive between 4 teams. And then Houston looking strong in the West, but you've got the A's and Angels looking good as well. Rowdy Tellez off to another good start. He had 49 home runs last year. He's on pace for 60 plus this year. He'll probably slow down, but he's with Toronto. That's helping them out, I'm sure. So is Guerrero Jr., who's this is his second full year in the league, and he's looking even better. He's having a really dominant year too. And then Manny Machado off to an 18-game hitting streak with the Angels. He's looking good. And Carlson Fulmer, he's been off my radar here, but he's leading the American League in wins, having a pretty decent year. But nothing. Billy Hamilton leading the league in strikeouts. He's now with Oakland, and looks like he's getting most of the starting job there in Central or in center field, and having a good Billy Hamilton year, on pace for 100 plus runs, 78 stolen bases. I mean, right now he's 30 years old in this playthrough. He's already up to 446 steals, so outside chance of 500 this year. Don't think he'll get quite that far, but might get to 1,000 hits this year. I mean, if he keeps playing, so it's nice to see that he's still around. I hated to see him go So it's nice to see him having a good career. So let's look at the draft before we get too much into looking at the team. I thought the draft was a little bit better this year than probably uh, what I've been having happen with that Phillies in that Phillies playthrough. We had two picks, one in the first round, one in the supplemental first round. First pick we went with was a starting pitcher, Jamie Doolin. Looks like he's got a really good upside, but he's going to have to develop that third pitch, that changeup, and his control's got a long way to go before he really gets better. And I went with my scout on this one, although he's young, and even OSA has his individual ratings potentially being high. So went with my scout on that one, but hopefully he'll develop in that 4.5-star starter they're thinking. And then I went with a center fielder for my second pick. This guy's also young, so a lot of time to develop, but every individual rating is off the charts, really, if he hits it. Good contact, gap power, home runs, eye discipline, avoid K, good speed. For his age, he's rated really good at defensively at center, and it was another. You can see there's a big discrepancy between my scout and OSA, so I'm really hoping that he's gonna have the better prediction there. And then I went with a closer and my third pick. This guy, again, some good upside. I like his stuff and fastball. He's got 3 pitches. He's potentially gonna turn into a starter, so I don't know how that's gonna develop when he's in, or how he develops in the minors. But if he turns into be a lefty closer, I'd be really happy with that too. OSA likes him too. They got him as a potential 4-star. And then third pick was Ashby, who is another pitcher, another starting pitcher. I like his potential ratings too, especially the stuff and his fastball and slider. Even with OSA, he's rated okay, but he might just turn out to be a bullpen pitcher. And then fourth pick was center fielder again. Those just a lot of times tend to be the best athletes available, the best overall players. So he may find a spot somewhere else in the minors, either in right, left, first. Really wouldn't matter. But he's got good speed, good potential contact, power, gap power. Not as highly rated as OSA, but again, I'm going with my scout. And then the fifth pick was a pitcher, another pitcher. This guy's rated as a bullpen guy right now, but he's young. He's got a lot of potential with stuff and control. If he hits those two, he'll be really good. And OSA liked this guy better than some of my previous picks, although they don't think his control is all that good. They've still got him in a 3.5-star potential. I gotta hope that he develops something. But looking at well, that's not what I wanted to go to. They should be, I think, yeah, it's at the Arizona Fall League. So I'll have to keep an eye on them and see how they develop. But I thought pitching-wise, we got some really good depth there in this draft, and I'm hoping that really pays off down the road. Right now in the minors, we're a little bit thin at pitcher. One of the things that I don't like, and I'm seeing it again right here, is Trevor Cadd, who's probably my best overall prospect. He is starting to get injured pretty regularly. And he's got great ratings all up and down the line. Good speed, potential power is good, but he's just he just keeps getting injured. I think he's been on the DL just once for a long time this year, but you see there was a couple times last year, so I don't know if he's gonna keep getting injured. It's gonna hurt his development. And then Drake Fellows, I'm keeping an eye on in AAA right now. I think this guy might be ready for a call-up in September. I'm hoping he will anyway. He's just got 4 solid pitches, and if his individual ratings hit those targets there, 12 and stuff, movement, control, and he's got a decent stamina, he could be a good mid-rotation or below pitcher if he develops. He's also rated a little bit higher on OSA, so I think that's hopefully a plus for him. But let's look before we sim ahead to anything. Let's look at how our team's doing. The pitching staff, first off, nothing is really new too much from last year except Weaver. Luke Weaver is a pickup, and Puck. Puck is honestly not looking that bad. I don't think he's made any development strides yet, but he's still got those solid pitch ratings, individual pitch ratings. I think overall he's projected to hit double digits in wins and a 4.26 ERA. If he gives me that, I might be okay with that. Especially in that fifth spot. Alcantara is doing okay. He's on a hot streak right now, but I'm not really seeing it in his overall development. But if he would get that movement going, I think he would turn into a pretty good starter too. He's ERA's below 3. He's on pace for 13 wins. And then Castillo's been up and down, but he's probably been my most consistent pitcher in that starting rotation. Molly was injured for a while. He's back off injury. He's got the best ratings overall from my scout at 3.5 stars potential. But in 5 starts, he's looked pretty shaky. So I'm waiting for him to pick it up a little bit. Hunter Green, I've been keeping him in that bullpen. He's got a little minimal injury going on now, and he's not been too bad. He's still probably not ready to start full time, but at 21 years old, you can't really knock what he's doing this year. And then Chad Green has been really good in that bullpen. So's Peralta, who's having one of his better years for me, which is good because his ratings are really solid too. Looking at the lineup offensively, Feliciano has really struggled. I still think he's a better overall catcher right now, offensively and defensively. He's not as sound defensively as Barnhart, but taken all together, he's got a good arm, pretty good position rating. His offense has just not been that good, but it's been probably better than Barnhart's in all honesty. So I think I did the right thing picking him up, and Girardi is starting him primarily in catcher. Gurriel's been up and down. His average is really low. Joey Votto's getting very little playtime. Shedrick Long's having a good year. The power's down a little bit, but he's still hitting for high average. Senzel's starting to turn it on. The only thing his power's low too. Cam Gibson, average is low. I don't think you're going to get a high average with him, but he's on pace for 50-plus home runs right now. So good start for him. Taylor Trammell's looking good. Jesse Winker is now starting the bulk of the games in right because of injury. Andleton Simmons is starting to play a little bit better. And just looking at injuries right now, Almora is going to be out for the year, and that kind of left me pretty thin in the outfield, and I just haven't been able to find anyone either in the waiver wire or I haven't really wanted to do too much with trading right now. I'll probably wait till we get closer to the deadline to see if I need to. But I've still got Friedel, and I called up Mangum from Double-A, and I don't think that's going to work out. If Cab would be a little bit healthier, and I'm going to wait and see what his injury looks like, he might be somebody I would be willing to call up. But I don't have anybody in the minors right now in Triple-A that could step into that outfield. And even looking at free agents, I think there's nobody available right now for the most part. Let's see. Melka Cabrera. I don't think he would help me too much. Markakis, some veterans available out there, but Cole Calhoun is available. He plays right pretty good, but that's about it. And his individual ratings aren't that solid against lefties. So I'm gonna let it ride for a little bit. I might have to work some kind of trade out as we get closer. Looking at the trading block, there's some pretty good players out there. For instance, Tanaka here. Well, I don't know if I like those ratings. He's an international free agent. David Peralta, he's injured, but he's out for 4 months, so he wouldn't be an option either. So not too much there really. Some good pitching help though in that bullpen if I needed that, and a few starters there if Puck were to just explode or implode, I may be able to make a trade for somebody like that. James Pazos, if that's how you say that right, he's out there as well. I don't like his control, but he might be a good setup guy in the bullpen. Eh, might have to keep an eye on him too. But I think bullpen, even though it's the ERA is struggling, I think we've started playing better. So I'm hoping that starts turning around soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sim ahead and see how far we get. It'd be nice to get to that All-Star break, but we might not be able to. So 34 and 31, and looks like in a 3-game series with Milwaukee, we lost 2 of 3. Jimmy Herget now is ready to come off the DL, so I'm going to give him a rehab assignment in the minors, and that's probably going to be a couple weeks there. They'll probably put him as closer. They are. Cishek has already been called down, and he was coming off an injury, and instead of putting him on a rehab assignment, I sent him down, and I'm waiting to see what he does. If he starts pitching pretty well, that's I've got some good options there in the bullpen, like Maciel, for instance. He could go down when Herget's ready. Lorenzen's struggle, but he's going to be better. So I don't really have much unless I was maybe tried to trade Nicasio. He's a free agent after this year. I don't know if anyone would go for him, but he's not been that solid either. He's a lot of strikeouts, pretty decent whip, but ERA is really high. Sorry, let's look at the news. 3 home runs for Jock Peterson, who's having a good year. But let's look at how we lost these games. So we lost 4-5. They have Scott Kingery now from Philadelphia. He's their starting second baseman, looks like. So Senzel, Gibson, those guys had a good game, but Molly, another bad outing from him. And then the second game, 3-1. Winker, Senzel, Gibson, Simmons, all with 2 hits in the game. Alcantara, another solid game from him. Green picked up the save, and then we lost 1-2. Winker, another good game. He's hitting .295 now. And a good game from Weaver, 6 strong innings, but that bullpen blew it for us. So now we're going to be playing at Chicago. This will be a big series, probably a 3-game series on the road. We're just 2 games above 500. Now we're back to 500. Not a good week. So we lost all 3 games against Chicago, 2-4 in that first game. Shedrick Long hit a home run. Puck, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. Not terrible for offense. It's going well. Then 2-3 in the next game. Gurriel still struggling. Castillo didn't even get to 5 innings on that one. And then 1-2 that last game. Trammell 2 for 3. Long, Gurriel, another had a couple hits, but a good game from Molly for the most part, but just couldn't get her offense on track. So that set us back quite a bit. And so looking at the All-Star voting, we had a couple guys who have been showing up here. They may not be showing up now. It looks like they're not. So we had Shedrick Long, and he's dropped out of the voting. And I think we have one other player, and looks like we don't have anybody except Chad Green, who's leading the reliever vote getting. So he might have a good chance at the All-Star this year. Bichette, Player of the Week in the American League, and Victor Robles in the National League. So weekly power rankings, we're pretty low after that disaster of a week. We're at 19. Standings, we are now 10 games behind Chicago. We've lost 4 in a row, and we are just a game back of the wild card. So it's, there might be a lot of teams who compete for that wild card this year. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the waiver wire. Nothing doing. And we're going to be playing San Francisco at home and then 3 games against Pittsburgh. Is that right? Or 4 games against Pittsburgh on the roads. This could be a tough week as well. So we're back to 500. So we won 2 of 3 from San Francisco, and then we've split. And I was wrong. Cishek is on a rehab assignment. So I think I would be better putting him in there for Maciel, who's a good September call-up option, but he's just not ready. And let's see what that would do with the pitching staff. He moves Cishek into middle relief. And Chicago loses a pretty big pitcher for the year. Zach Godley is on pace for 15 wins. That might hurt them a little bit. So in the San Francisco series, just looking at the game so far, good offensive game here. Senzel average up to 285. Gibson, 22 home runs now. He had a good game, 3 hits. Long, a good game. Trammell, not too bad in his first full season. Alcantara, 8 strong innings to get his 7th win. This dude's looking really good. I really think it's going to start reflecting in his individual ratings pretty soon. And then we won the second game 4-1. Gurriel looks like he had a big home run in that one. Weaver won his 3rd for us. Green is 17th save, but Weaver now starting to play a little bit better. And he was a gamble because he's got a pretty long contract, but I'm hoping that he stays healthy and develops a little bit. And then we were just hammered in that 3rd game. Votto had a pitch hit off the bench. Andrelton Simmons was okay, but Pucks, 5 innings, 3 runs, still struggling for the most part for him. And then we lost that first game 3-9 against Pittsburgh on the road. Trammell was 3 for 4, Long 2 for 3. Castillo, another bad outing, 3 innings, 5 runs. Maciel, who I just sent down, so probably a good choice to send him down at this point. But we won 6-2. That gets us back to 500. Senzel, 2 for 4. Friedel, good game off the bench. And Molly picked up his 2nd win, 8 strong innings, 2 earned runs. So he's starting to look a little bit better. If I'm looking at how he's looking in June, 5 starts with 3.55 ERA. So that's not too terrible right now. Let's go ahead and finish out this week. So we split that 4-game series, but oh my gosh, a big blow. Shedrick Long out for the rest of the year. Let's look at the games. We won 8-6 at Pittsburgh. Gurriel was good in this one. Long was good in this one, but he broke an elbow. Feliciano had a good game. Andrelton Simmons 3 for 5. Alcantara didn't get put past the 4th inning. He gave up a lot of walks this one. Green got the win in relief. Hunter Green and then Chad Green got the save. And then we lost the last game in extra innings. Trammell, a good game. Simmons, another good game for him. Weaver gave us 5 innings, just 3 runs, but Peralta blew it in the bullpen. But that big injury now for us, gone for the year. And he has been really a rock for us since he's been on the team. So that's a very tough blow. Looking at players of the week, Marwin Gonzalez in the American League and Jason Hayward in the National League. And weekly power rankings, we moved up a little bit to 17th. We were right at 500, 38-38. Just a half game back of Philadelphia for that last wild card spot. But we're struggling, and that injury to Long really going to be tough to overcome. Let's see what I've got to step in here. It looks like Trevor Cadd, that must have been a small injury. He's back healthy and playing. And Mangum, I don't know how well he's going to do, but I'll leave him in there because his defense and contact rating is pretty good. But now I'm gonna give Herget one more week, and then I'll call him up. But I don't know who I'm gonna call down. I might have to start looking at trades here. Eric Ramirez. This guy's looking pretty good at first. I mean, he's got a. If Gurriel is free agent after this year, this guy might have a chance. And he was a 32nd round pick for us. Yeah, man, you can't beat that. The way he's playing in Louisville, and the way he's developed. But I think he's just rated at first. He is. So we are slim. We have no one to take Shedrick Long's place. I'm going to look at free agents. Let's see what we got. We got Scooter Gennett. I wouldn't be opposed to re-signing him. He's still got good ratings against righties. He had a couple good years for us. It's just when Long came along, I had to make that choice. I think I traded him for Gesellman, who was so for us. But yeah, I'll try to sign Gennett here. He's just wanting a minor league contract. Let's see if he would take me up on that. And let's go ahead and sim ahead and see what happens. So Milwaukee's already overtaken us. Well, we're having a tough time here. Looks like we won 2 of 3 from San Francisco. Nope, we split a 4-game series with them. So Scooter Gennett did sign with me, so that makes me feel a little bit better. Aroldis Chapman out for 2-3 months, and we're in July now. So let's look at some of these end of the month awards here, and then we'll get back to the team. So American League's best hitter was Mookie Betts in the American League, Blackman in the National League. Best starter, Selman in Houston, but he won that for me before, so he can be pretty streaky. And then for the National League, it was Keuchel, who's having a great year for the Dodgers. Rookies of the month, Sky Bolt for Oakland in the American League, and then Vidal Brujan for Philadelphia. This guy hasn't been on my radar. I'm not sure where he's coming from, but he's looked pretty decent for the most part. And now we're into that international free agency. We'll look at that. We're about to play a 3-game series with the Tigers. And now looking at the mid-season goals, he's very disappointed with the winning percentage. He wanted me to sign Cole Hamels. There was no way I could do that. Cole, fortunately, he's already down to a 1-star pitcher here in this playthrough. He is glad they've got Simmons. He's still happy with the way we're doing overall, but this is probably going to be a step back, no question. And we've got a lot of personnel decisions to make in the offseason, including the big one here, Girardi, but we've also got team trainer, scouting director, almost every position in that minors we're going to have to re-sign. Girardi, I would be willing, just from his record, I'm going to see if he would take an extension. He would go 4 years, 1.8. I think he's worth it. And then Buckley, I don't like to move around too much. Once I get used to a scouting director and get used to his ratings, I like to keep him as long as I can. So I'm going to see if he would go for 4 years, but it's $900 million, or $954,000. I'll do that for now, but those are pretty big blows. And then we got Riggleman. I think he's a good bench coach, but he's getting up there in age. I don't know if he would sign. We'll see. He said he would take 2 more years. We'll see if he does. And then the team trainer. There are probably some better trainers out there, but this guy's young. He may have room to develop a little bit, and he's not wanting a whole lot of money, so I'm gonna go for an extension for him. So that was quick, but that gets all my major league personnel out of the way. I'll look at the minors later on in the season offline. I want to look at the week we had. So we lost that first game at San Francisco 1-2. Trammell was 2 for 3 leading off. Gibson and Gurriel, a couple hits for them. 6 fairly strong innings from Puck, just 2 earned runs. And then we won 4-0 in the second game. Mangum coming off or starting at center looked like he had a good game. Hunter Green started at third and had a good game. Castillo finally had a really 7 strong innings, no runs. Then we won the third game 7-6. Winker 4 for 5, drove in 3. Gurriel, another good game from him. Molly pitched a solid game, didn't get the decision because Hunter Green really stunk it up in the bullpen. I'm wondering if that could be because he's playing offense a little bit. But Green was able to get the save, 19th save, and then we lost 4-5 in extra innings. Friedel getting a lot of play time here in center. He was 2 for 3. Hunter Green played shortstop in this game. Alcantara pitched a strong game, but we just couldn't hold it for him. Bullpen blew it in extra innings. So now I'm going to be finding Hunter, let me see, Scooter Gennett. And where is that? Yep, here we go. Scooter Gennett. I'm going to put him on the roster. And he's just a 2-star player right now, but I still think he's got some individual ratings that are pretty solid. And let's see how this does with the lineup. So Gennett's going to be starting at right pretty much every game. He's going to be backing up Dahl at second. So Dahl, still just a 1.5-star player, but he does have a little bit of a better offensive rating and defensive rating than Gennett against lefties. So that might help us out. We're back to 40-40, back to 500. Let's finish out this week. So we lost the game, split the first 2 against Detroit, and now we're starting to get some trade proposals from Cleveland. Clevenger for Hyatt and Heatherly, and I don't think I need him as badly as I need offense right now. And All-Stars, Shedrick Long is now back in the top 3 in voting, but it's not going to do him any good this year. And we still got Chad Green leading the way there in voting for the relievers. And then Baltimore and Chicago, is this the White Sox? Yeah, it's the White Sox. Let me look at the international free agents. I haven't done much there lately. Let's see if there's anybody that really stands out. A couple center fielders off the bat. Let's see what OSA likes. Looks like the same players. So Barreo, the Dominican, he's got some great potential offensively. Pretty much all up and down the line. And then the second one is Escalante. Same deal, just not as strong. Pretty decent personality ratings. I'm going to see what this guy would take, but I bet it's going to be up there. Yeah, $3.2 million. I'll see if he'll go for that, and that'd be a good guy to kind of bulk up the farm system with. Let's look how these first 2 games went with Detroit. Lost 2-5. This is at home too. Simmons was 2 for 4. Good game for him. Weaver 6 innings but 4 runs, no walks, 7 Ks, and then 6-5. We won that second game in overtime or extra innings. Gibson up to 23 home runs, on pace for 45. Votto may have had a home run in this game as well. And Puck, only 4 innings this one, but Peralta struggled, but Nicasio won it in extra innings. Colom's a guy who's starting to look a little shaky for me as well. So let me finish out the week then, and then I'll look at how Herget's doing. So we won the final game 8-4. We're back a game up, a game above 500. Lucroy was the American League Player of the Week. Charlie Blackmon in the National League. We are up to 12th in the power rankings. So pretty good offensive game here. How many home runs do we have? Gibson had a home run. Gurriel, Winker. Gurriel was 3 for 4 in this game. And Castillo picked up the win, his 8th. And the bullpen looked really solid in this one. So he's on pace for 16 wins. That's pretty good. That would be back-to-back strong years from Castillo if he does that. So let me look at Herget. How's he doing in the minors? 8 games. I think he's probably ready to go for the most part. But who do we replace? Colom is just not looking all that good. Wonder what I could get for him at this point. I'm getting some offers. More than likely it'll be a lot of high contract pitchers, like Pomeranz here, for instance, or relievers. And I just, I don't think that's going to help me. I need some depth offensively, I think, more than anything. Now, he would probably want to be a starter, and I just don't want that right now. Jonathan Scoop would be, I guess, a better option than Scooter Gennett. But a very high contract. Diaz. Extremely hard worker, but he's just a 1.5 star player. Chris Sale, he keeps coming up there, and just about every time I throw a player out for trade. Josh Donaldson. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of high contracts here. Chad Wallach. A lot of players, but nothing that I'm really gonna land on. So what am I gonna do? Because I really think I need Herget to come up. I don't foresee being able to send Colom down to the minors. But he is he's really, I think, struggling more than anybody on the team. So he's gonna have to clear waivers. Let me see if anyone would pick him up on waivers. Because I would, at this point, I'd be okay with letting him go. I've got Ohanian, I've got Maciel, Scott Moss even. I could call him up and they could help fill in the bullpen right now at this point. And let's see what that would do with the... So he moves Herget into the setup role. So that's okay. So let's go. We're going home against Cleveland. Let's play out this next week here. And yeah, Barrio, looks like San Francisco's offered him more. I'll go a little bit more with him. 3.8 million. I don't expect I will be getting. I don't expect I'll be getting that one though. That's guy's rated really high. So we won the first game against Cleveland 11-5, and San Francisco and Miami have claimed Colomb. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Um, he wasn't playing that well for us. $3.6 million. That'll save us some money. So I'm okay with that. I can put that money towards this international guy I'm trying to get. So 11-5 against Cleveland. Look at this game from Winker. 3 for 5, scored 3, drove in 6. Jeanette was 2 for 4. Simmons 2 for 3. Molly got the win, but it was 5 runs in 5 innings, but 9 Ks, and then the bullpen looked really good for the rest of the game. Looks like our bullpen was at 9th in ERA when we started this episode, so they're now up to 6th in the league. So aside from walks, we're really, I think, doing really well in pitching balance-wise. So we got Cleveland and then Pittsburgh to finish out this week. So we won both games from Cleveland, and Miami claimed Colomb. And Barreo, let's see what he's up to now. 4.4. I'll go as high as 5 because I've got that. I do have that much budgeted. And let's see. St. Louis wants to send me Matt Bowman and Kyle McCann for Friedel. You know, Friedel's playing really good off the bench, and I need him right now because of injury, so no to that. So this Cleveland game, Winker, another good game, 2 for 4, drove in 3. Jeanette was 1 for 3. Feliciano's struggling at catcher. I don't know how long that can continue. Alcantara got his 8th win, very strong in this one. Bullpen looked good again. So now let's go ahead and move on to Pittsburgh. It's probably going to be a 3-game series at home. We won the first one 7-3, and we got some messages here. Harper hit his 300th home run. He's up to 33 already, so on pace for 61. Some trading going on. Jake McGee traded to the Braves. And Barreo, the Marlins are going for him now. Let's see what the money's up to. All right, $5 million that's as far as I'm going to go, but we'll see. And Buckley found another guy, Bluey Bravo, and nothing going on there. Miami, Juan Minaya for Keller and Chatfield. I'm going to say no to this one because, yeah, this guy's not going to give me enough value. Clevenger was traded to Colorado from Cleveland. So let's look at this first game here, 7-3. Winker, another good game. He's looking strong. Senzel, 2 for 3. Gurriel, Friedel, Barnhart, Dahl, 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Weaver got his 4th win, 5 innings, no runs. No saves going on there in the bullpen. It's been a while since I've seen a save. So we're starting to win again. We won 4-3 against Pittsburgh. Winker, another good game, 2 for 3. Senzel, 3 for 4. Gurriel, 2 for 4. Castillo, just 4 innings, 7 Ks. Green finally got a save here, his 20th. And looking at the news, Scooter Jeanette, he's already wanting to re-sign. Miami wants to give me this Minaya again. I'm not going to trade for him because I think I do have a little bit of depth in the minors on that bullpen. All right, so let's play this last game against Pittsburgh. That's probably the end of the episode here. 14-5, a very big win. And let's look at that. Trammell, 2 for 5, scored 2. Winker drew 3 walks in the game. Senzel, 4 RBIs. Gibson, a good game. 25 home runs now, up on pace for 46. Gurriel's batting average is above 250. Jeanette's struggled a little bit since I signed him, but that's okay. He probably didn't get a whole lot of time. I don't know if he played in spring training this year. So Simmons for the most part, having a good year, on pace for 3.7 wins above replacement. So I'm very happy with that move. I think I needed him. And Puck, 5th win, 6 solid innings. So now let's take a look at the news and see how we're going. And we did get Barreo. So $5 million was what it took. Now, I'll probably let him sit for a couple years in the minors or in that international complex before giving him a chance to play. But he is, I got a catcher, 3-star rated catcher. But he's going to be one of my top rated prospects right now for sure. And then Buxton, American League Player of the Week. Bryce Harper in the National League. Sean Rodriguez retiring. And power rankings, we are all the way up to 3rd with the week that we had. We are on a 7-game winning streak. We've won 8 of 10. Going to be tough to catch Chicago, but we are right now in the mix for the wild card. We would be in the wild card with the Mets and just a half game behind the Mets for home field advantage in that wild card game. So pretty good turnaround in this episode. After playing 400 or 500 those first 3 months, we were off to a good start, 7-2 in July. We got Arizona coming up, who Arizona right now is the worst team in the National League West, so might be an okay challenge on the road. Same with San Diego. Even though they're leading the division, hopefully we can come out of this week okay. I wouldn't mind, say, finishing 4-2, at least splitting this week, but keeping this pace going. But that'll do it for this episode. I'll come back next time. We'll be middle of September trying to make a playoff run. Hopefully we'll be in better shape with the Cubs. You know, if we keep this run up, we might close the distance, but it's gonna be tough to overcome those injuries that we've had. I mean, right now the biggest one, of course, Shedrick Long, but Almora was a pretty big blow too. Even though his offense is not that great, he was a good defender and a good leader on the team. So I missed him for sure. But thanks for watching as always. And next episode, I'll probably pick back up with the Phillies. We're in the same spot there, and then get back to this one. Maybe do 2 or 3 more episodes this week if I can, time permitting. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode.